I'm live! Huzzah! Hello, everyone. I am at home today because we got a ridiculous amount of snow. I mean, it's probably only 15 centimeters, 6 or 7 inches, but they don't clear the roads here. So like, they're it's just packed snow and ice right now. I tried to get the car free today, and I could get it onto the street, but we live on a hill, so that I just couldn't move. I was just spinning on the hill. So I'm at home today. My microphone is part of the webcam, so I apologize if the audio isn't fabulous. Um, Although usually the software does a pretty good job of cleaning it up, so hopefully that works out well. Um, and Joel says, I have a much nicer chair this time. This is the same chair that I use at the office. I couldn't resist. Um, I had to have it. It vibrates, it heats, it is ridiculously comfortable, and I am super spoiled. I have sciatica, quite bad, where like sitting in the wrong chair can make it so I'm just like in agony for the next 24 hours. And my old chair actually really was good back in the day. Like that chair got me through COVID, and got me like able to like function again. But I don't know, like something about like how my back is structured as it's improved. Now that chair hurts my back rather than helps my back. So I had to move on. And like I tell you, like as authors, like a lot of times we're like, you know, or just people in general, we tend to like suffer with like working arrangements, ergonomic arrangements that we're like, well, I'll just have to manage. I'd rather put money into other things. But at a certain point, it's just like, man, like having a good chair as an author is super important. And like, I'm not like spare no expense kind of thing, but I'll drop $400 on a chair, if I'm like not in pain sitting in it, because I don't work as well when I'm in pain, quite honestly. Hey, Monique. Yes, it is indeed Thursday. It's an exciting Thursday for me too. I've got calls from this. For me, this is 10 a.m. This is now brunch with Mal, because this is the you all have gone through. Well, not Monique, because she's in Western Europe, Eastern Europe, where they don't where they do things at a different time. It's late. It's like in 2 weeks, I think, or 1 week for daylight savings time in Europe. Um, but Saskatchewan doesn't do that daylight savings time, so our clocks didn't change. And British Columbia, the westernmost province in Canada, has now joined the ranks. So now it's British Columbia, Arizona, and Saskatchewan that no longer change their clocks. However, Saskatchewan's been doing this since 1966. So I feel like I feel like we're kind of like ahead of the curve. 2 more weeks. All right, I was close. And hello, Rebecca. Um, so yeah, so it's brunch with Mal, and for my brunch today, I have chocolate covered raisins. So I'm like, did my last call started an hour ago, and I have brunch with you guys, and then I have three more just back to back calls. So I have 5 hours of calls today, so it's gonna be a fun day. Um, so yeah, so first of all, what's going on with you guys? I always love talking about what you guys have going on, what's on your mind. So if anybody has any topics they want to chat about, general questions you have, like I don't know, just like you want to like venture spleen or something like that, feel free to do so. Yes, phrasing that's right, Monique. They're proof that there is a God and that He loves us, or she loves us, or they love us. I don't know, but yeah, that's my random statement. So yeah, anything you guys want to share, talk about, that's cool. I've had like a pretty busy week. I've talked a bunch about writing with AI lately and AI in general, and I decided to take the plunge and do a book with AI. And the funny thing is, for me, it wasn't faster, but that's a me problem. But actually, something I'm kind of happy about. So I've written like at this point at least 30 books with co-authors, maybe more now. And my process with co-authors is that one of us drafts it, and then the other person goes over it and makes changes. Sometimes one author writes the whole draft, and then things are gone over. Sometimes we alternate, like one author writes one POV, one author writes the other POV, and then we go over each other's chapters, make changes, finesse things, that sort of thing. And that's roughly how I ended up doing it with Claude. Claude would write a chapter, I would go over the chapter, make my edits, feed that chapter back in, and then we would discuss what had changed and then move on, because I have to make sure that Claude knows about the changes so it carries changes forward. Sometimes I would even have it update the outlines that we made. And I produced 30,000 words worth of character descriptions, outlines, and sort of canonical documentation about the thing. Claude and I had 100,000 words of conversation, and we created a 75,000 word story out of that. So and it took as long. So back in the heyday, I could do 10,000 words a day, and produce a 70,000 word book in a week, and it took me just as long with Claude. But it was way more fun than just slogging away by myself, because I felt like I had a partner that I was working with, and I could riff off of and talk back and forth and that sort of thing. And it actually was really quite interesting that for me, it was not, I mean, it got me back to like my best speed, I would say, but it didn't make me faster than my best speed. And I was nowhere near the most efficient way of doing it, but I really enjoyed the process. And I feel like at the end of the day, I still one more full read through to do. I've already done one read through. Now I'm going to do another one. Every single word that goes into this book, I saw, approved, liked, changed, whatever. But there are some ideas that are in this book that I would not have come up with on my own, and I'm pretty happy that they're in there. So that's what I've been up to the last week. I have fewer watchers now. I wish people bailed when they heard that I wrote a book with. They heard I wrote a book with AI, but share what you guys have been up with. I'm pretty stoked. So Tim says looks like a healthy brunch. That's right. Gotta have the health food. Can't imagine your schedule if I also have my day job. I mean, you wouldn't be able to do it, but luckily this is my day job, so that works out well. Rebecca is trying her first lead ads, but while the pixel's working, keeps saying I need to set up a conversion event. I'm not sure which one. So one thing to note, and the conversion event you want to use on BookFunnel is complete registration. And then when you make your lead ad, it'll ask you what event to use, and you also choose complete registration. It will have a little thing there saying you need to set up this conversion event because it's never gotten that data before. But once people actually start clicking on the ad, filling it out, and then BookFunnel sends like, hey, I got a complete registration, that message will go away. So that's probably just showing up if you're like on the ad set page and it's right underneath where you picked complete registration as your conversion event. That will go away once some data starts coming in. So don't worry about that if you've done all the other steps, of course. It's kind of annoying that they say that. I think the message should be better and be like, we haven't received this any complete registration events yet. If you haven't already set up this event or are not using a service that will send this, then you need to set up an event. Their wording is poor and confusing. It won't send the ad though, and that's the only part that isn't filled out. I don't know what won't send the ad means. Did you mean save? Let me bring one up. Give me 2 shakes of a lamb's leg here. Lamb's tail, not like one of these days I'll get that right. Unlikely. It's unlikely that I'll ever get that right. I'm destined to say that wrong the first time for the rest of my life. I clearly angered some sort of god or something like that. Some sort of deity is grouchy at me. Okay, let me share my screen. Perfect. Let me just change the view. There we go. Now it's embiggered. There's the technical term, making something embiggered. So we're going to create a new lead ad. I won't bother with a name or anything. I like to do ad set budget and then always turn off that checkbox. Not that that's what you're talking about here, but I figured since it's there, I should make it correct. And then, of course, we want to take our conversion location We don't want multiple, we want single, and we want website, because we're sending people to BookFunnel or Story Origin or what have you. Our performance goal is always going to be maximize number of leads, and I'm going to pick my example pixel here. Then I need to choose a conversion event, and it's of course red and required. I will choose complete registration, and it's an inactive event, which means it's never received data for this pixel with the complete registration event, but that's okay. And it tells me here I need to set up a conversion event. That's fine. I can carry on, publish my ad, and then when once it's live and I start getting the events, then it will work. And then of course, oops, I just accidentally shrunk this. On the BookFunnel side, let me find here we are. This page is set up for this. Hey, look at all those readers. Hello. So I'll need to, of course, you'll do this when you're making it, but I'm going to edit it down under advanced settings. I'll need to. This should have an event or a pixel ID. I think I must have made a second one. Well, anyway, I will need to double check that later. So what I need is my pixel ID, which I can get a number of different places, but one of the easy places to get it is just right here. So I kind of mouse over it, copy it, paste it in here. My page load event should be page view, not lead, page view. And then my subscribe event can be complete registration. And then, actually, I don't want to use that pixel ID because that's my example one. But anyway, make sure that once this is set to complete registration and the ad is live, data will come in and it will stop having this message here, and complete registration will fall out of inactive events and will be in a section called active events. So hopefully that's what that helps. All right, let me approve them. It says ad not sending. It can take like a day or so for the data to come through. All right. You said you put some stuff in school and it says ad not sending. So let's see. All right, that we see, yes. Yeah, we don't need to worry about that. That'll all just happen automatically. What I'm curious about is ads off. So I don't know if we're on the campaign, the ad set, or the ad. I'm guessing we're on the campaign. I love full screenshots. I think people think they're trying to be helpful by sending me these like super targeted ones, but there's other context here that would help me tremendously. I would need to see what this looks like from the ad tab. So what I would need to see is here with select ads and then screenshot the whole shoot and match. Because what I need to see is for the ad, what is the delivery status? That's the thing I need to see. It's very common for Facebook to be like, no ads or ads off or something like that, when in fact, the ad is processing or in review or something like that. So that's what I want to see. And then the other thing is, if there is actually, the other place where we can sometimes see really helpful information is if you go to edit the ad itself, you will sometimes see an error in the upper right that might give more information about why the ad's not sending. But if there is an issue, it's not that the complete registration conversion event is not set up. That won't stop an ad from sending. Because like it'd be a chicken and egg thing, right? Like how can I get conversion data if I don't get to run the ad that gives me conversion data? So hopefully, oh, you did. Beautiful, you added it. Let me just refresh this so I can see this as a full page. Wunderbar. All right, so I need you to click the ad tab now, where it says ads for ad set one. I need to see what the delivery status on that one is. And then we'll be golden. So we wait for that, we'll see. Yeah, we could possibly do this in Q&A. I don't know, it doesn't hurt to talk about it now. Could be useful for someone else as well. Monique has 2 books to finish before going to the US in 2 weeks. Are you going, I forget, I'm pretty sure you've mentioned this before. But now I forget. Are there any events going on? I know there's an event in Ireland that a bunch of people are going to pretty shortly. So that's pretty cool. Tim says, I've been reading about promo sites like the ones from Written Word Media between Facebook ads, Amazon ads, and WWM promos, and try and learn when to do which one. I think the answer for Amazon ads is all the time. Everybody should always be running AMS ads all the time. Maybe at low spend, maybe at high spend or something like that, but you should always be running them. Because it's going to keep like a modicum of traffic going to your site, and you can have like super low spend, but I feel like people should always do it. And then Facebook ads, I mean, depending on what you have going on, I kind of feel like you should be doing those all the time as well. And I think, all right, my window locked up briefly, but hopefully my audio still made it through. All right, and it's still not the screenshot that I need. I need you to be on this page, but I need it to be the ad tab, the final tab that is clicked on and highlighted, not the ad set tab, because we need to see what the delivery message is here. The screenshot the other screenshot you put in, actually, wait, yes, okay, I want to make sure I didn't miss a message. This would also be useful, but we need to be at the ad level as well. Again, we're at the ad set level, the second tier, we need to be at the third tier, because that's where delivery errors will also sometimes show. We won't ever see delivery errors that will tell us anything useful at the ad set level. It's always going to be, for this sort of thing, at the ad level that we'll see that. So a little forensic work there. Okay, stock up for Monique, stock up on favors, see the kids in the grand, get hubby's papers from the doctors, and some Chinese food. I tell you, Jill and I watched this this guy. His name's I'm Delicious, and he's from Ireland, and he talks about food from different countries all the time and stuff like that. And he was showing Chinese food in Ireland and the UK, and come on, brain, catch up. They have chips, as in French fries, but like, obviously there's more chunky ones. Those are part of like all Chinese food. And then they also have curry sauce that they just pour over all their Chinese food. I'm like, curry's fine, but curry's not part of Chinese food, and neither are chips. But Jill and I totally feel this way because New England, I mean, every region has different Chinese food. And some of it has to do with like, China's a big place. Where did the people come from that settled in the region that you're from, or that has this given Chinese food? So New England has its own sort of unique Chinese food, like Massachusetts, Connecticut, New Hampshire, all that sort of thing. And we cannot get that Chinese food in Canada, and we are lamenting it. So I totally get that. Oh, Rebecca, it worked. That is awesome. Yeah, sometimes the ads can just be flipped off for like a variety of weird reasons. So checking all those different spots, and there they were for anyone who's curious. This might have happened just as part of like the setup process. Maybe something wasn't selected properly at one point, so the ads didn't get turned all the way on, and then later on you might have gone back and fixed the blocker. Maybe it was you didn't have the pixel in or something like that, and then the ads just weren't turned on. So yeah, flipping those puppies on should do the trick, which sounds like you've done. So always make sure when you're like looking at ads that are giving you trouble, this is of course advice for everybody, make sure you go through each level and make sure the ad's on and check those delivery messages, because there might be some sort of important piece of information in there that you won't see at a higher level. And the messages at the higher levels are sometimes incorrect. So you always want to make sure you go traverse all the way down to the ad level to make sure that you're getting the info you need. Where is your husband from, Monique? How could he not understand that Vietnamese and Chinese food are not the same? And like there's Cantonese and there's Mandarin Chinese food, like at a high level, there's Taiwanese, there's like Chinese, like the Chinese food from Genzhou. I'm butchering that pronunciation versus which is like in the Shenzhen zone, if I remember correctly, or like Shanghai. It's all wildly different food, even within China. So yeah, and of course, none of what we eat is actually what they eat, but it's like the people that came over and then used our ingredients to try to recreate their food, and then we said no, make it more fattening, and they said sure, and then we went from there. Uh, so yeah, so my week has been consumed with doing some of this AI stuff, but it's also been a lot of catching up on ads. Um, it's been a weird February recovery because we're like halfway into March now, give or take a bit. And the beginning of March was actually pretty good. End of February, beginning of March was pretty good, but some people have seen a dip in their ad performance and some people haven't. I saw one client where her ads got significantly more expensive for last week, and then this week came back down again. So I'm not so sure that we're entirely out of the woods on the lingering effects of February. I do find myself like not being ridiculously trustworthy of Amazon data right now because they've lost some data centers. They might have them back online again now in the Middle East, but as a result, people doing critical operations were shifting things to other Amazon regions, and Amazon uses their own computers for for a lot of the things they do for their actual website. Because AWS, Amazon Web Services, is a bigger company than Amazon the retailer. Amazon the retailer, in a way, is now a client of AWS, which runs about a third of the internet on the planet. Um, and so when things go down in one location, people shift to other places, and then you'll have servers, on the East Coast of the United States doing work that they weren't doing before, because that work was happening on a server in Dubai. Well, now that's offline, so it got shifted over to be run on East Coast of the United States, and of course that's where the servers that count KU pages also live. So Amazon, of course, liking money, is more than happy to use the servers to make money than calculate how much money they have to give us. So it makes things fall behind. So that has made me rather untrustworthy of the data last week. But I feel like there is not as strong a recovery this March in reads as I'd like there to be. I don't know if this is just like, so I don't know if this is data. I don't know if this is the fact that people are distracted by the onset of this unnecessary war, terrified of gas prices doubling, who knows what. But it's something to be aware of as a business person that things are a little volatile right now. But that there are people that are doing all right, are showing a strong recovery. So I think it is possible to see things improve through March right now. So it's not all doom and gloom. I am seeing some authors who are getting like really strong results, graph go up kind of stuff right now. So I'm pretty pleased with that. And when he says he's from, I don't even know how to pronounce that word, Rzeszów? Is that in Poland? You're gonna make me look this up right on the call, aren't you? Rzeszów, city in Poland. Okay, got it. Oh, from here. I missed the word here. Oh my God, all the context was there, and I just didn't read it properly. So yeah, so I don't have a ton to announce about Facebook ads right now, other than the fact that I think that they're, like I said, Facebook seems to be working relatively well, except for that one author who had, for some reason, her ad costs soared last month. Like we're talking ads that sit at like 15 cents per click, climbing to like 50 cents per click for the week, and then coming back down again, all on their own. Other than that, Facebook's been pretty consistent. It's the Amazon data that I'm not super duper trustworthy about. Rzeszów, that's how you pronounce that? That is wild. Our poor Latin letters get abused in so many different ways by trying to make them make way more sounds than they're made to make. They're like, I don't know what I'm representing anymore. I'm just a silly little Latin letter. So yeah, so for me, that's kind of what I have to say. I wish I could think of something super clever to say about business right now. She'll probably is like, Mal, you always talk of all these things. Why can't you think of anything right now? I am still pretty bullish on wide. I think that that wide is definitely the way to go right now. If your business is relying and paying your bills requires you to to keep getting that KU money coming in, then obviously don't just drop KU and go wide like crazy. But it presents a lot of opportunities if you have the flexibility to handle it right now. Like you can take like maybe you don't have a KU business going, so it doesn't matter. Or you're like, you know what, I have a day job that's paying me well. I would love to start this up and not be beholden to Amazon. I think it's actually pretty clutch these days to be at least be strongly considering it. It gives you so much more flexibility with what you can do with your products. It opens up so many avenues, different ways that you can get your books into people's hands that you just cannot do if your only retail option is Amazon. So I think it's something people do need to be thinking about. I still think that Kickstarter is a really strong thing right now. So if you're like, you know, I don't want to go through setting up like an ongoing store that I have to worry about forever, you know, selling products, etc. Kickstarter is still a super viable option. I'm getting ready to roll mine live soon. I just released the second short story to followers. So what I'm doing with my Kickstarter is like as I get more followers, I'm giving them things, and not until I hit a certain follower threshold will I actually launch the Kickstarter. I was going for 500. I think I might go for 300 instead, just because I want to go sooner rather than later, because I have other things I want to run Kickstarters for later. So that's kind of some of the thoughts I have on that front. Some things actually that are worth considering too is I was working with an author just this morning who has set up a Shopify store, and she went with a company to help her set everything up. And one of the things that they did was, of course, they're saying, hey, you need to use Klaviyo. Everybody always talks about using Klaviyo with Shopify, because Klaviyo lets you set up all these rules to email people post-sale, to do abandoned cart. Like if someone adds stuff to the cart and it doesn't complete the checkout, Klaviyo can email them and be like, hey, I see a lot of something in that cart there. Would you like $2 off to get it at a discount? And she has a 28,000 person mailing list. And so the company that set her up was like, okay, we need to import your mailing list into Klaviyo, because Klaviyo is a full CRM program that a big company would use to manage all their customer relations and whatnot. So they had her load her 28,000 person mailing list into Klaviyo, and she's paying over $500 a month for Klaviyo now, but she still has MailerLite. And I'm like, you need to get those emails out of Klaviyo so you're not paying them a fortune to start with. And keep using MailerLite. It's so much cheaper. And all of that automation that they set up for you in Klaviyo, Shopify has it too for free. So there are things like that I think is important to be smart about. Sometimes people are like, this is the way it must be done with various things. And I'm all about like, great, now how can I do it for less money or less overhead? So if you are thinking about doing direct sales, you don't need Klaviyo. You don't need to pay a lot of additional services and whatnot. Shopify has a lot of stuff built in. The only additional thing I think you really need is Sell Easy, which is the thing that does upsells and pop-ups and stuff like that, which honestly Shopify should have built in. The nice thing about Sell Easy is that you get your first few upsells for free, and only after you've made like a couple $100, I forget exactly where the line sits, will they actually start taking a cut. But it's one of those things where like once they start taking their cut, they've already proven their worth. And I think it resets each month. So I don't know what company they use for setting up their Shopify. CN Mason, sorry, but I was shocked that they had her load her existing mailing list into Klaviyo, because that's like, Klaviyo is expensive, and that's kind of a crazy thing. There's absolutely no reason to do that. Even if you want to use Klaviyo, you don't want to put your full mailing list in there; it'd be too expensive. I'm a big fan of Email Octopus. Email Octopus is significantly cheaper and gives you all the same power, although it has slightly lower deliverability. That's the one thing I don't like about it. That's a bummer that you can't get Sell Easy because of Shopify Lite. I think, and I don't know exactly what the price difference is, but I would not run a Shopify website without Sell Easy. Ironically, I'm using an e-commerce platform that also doesn't have pop-up upsells, which I need to give some more thought to. But yeah, it's so handy. So Tim says, let me go back up in the back scroll a little bit here. So as I get ready to launch first book in summer, my strategy is to run ARC campaigns, and once the book is live, run Amazon auto ads, then learn what I can build what I can from those to build my Facebook ads. You won't really take a lot of learning from Amazon Auto Ads to build Facebook because the targeting is so wildly different, but definitely do run the Amazon Auto Ads. I'm definitely down with that. And Tim decided to go wide and training some discoverability, but I think wide is better for me in the long run. I think wide is better for all of us in the long run. KU is a drug, and it's a drug that's pretty easy to get addicted to. I've been addicted to the KU drug for most of my author career, but I tell you, whenever I'm wide and someone says like, "Hey, do you want to do this with your work? Do you want to do that with your work?" I'm like, "Sure," and I never once have to stop and think like, "Can I do this? Does this violate the KU agreement?" So I like that. Shopify Lite only goes on my own website. It's $9 a month, so I'm always looking for a workaround. Okay. Well, maybe at some point it might be worth it to have it be separate or not. I don't know. I tell you, the pop-up system for Sell Easy is super nice, though. One thing to keep in mind if you do ever want to use Sell Easy to do upsells on a direct website with Shopify, you want to turn off that Buy with Shop button, that blue button on your product page, because that bypasses all the upsells. It takes people right to the cart. You always want to have people go through the add to cart process, add to cart, then checkout for your upsells to all trigger. I think like full Shopify is only like $30 a month, isn't it, Monique? So it's not that much more. Obviously, like controlling costs is important. So it might be one of those things I think that if you or someone else is thinking about this, could always change later on and do full Shopify. I use Wix for mine, which I think I've shown before, which allows me to build everything in one website. Wix has automations, it handles my email, handles my main website, and my e-commerce all in one bundle, which I like quite a bit. But it is a little bit less, it's got more flexibility, but which makes it a little more complicated as well. So that's worth considering. Tim says for my reader magnet, I actually had people ask for a paper copy. The only thing I had set up for them to pay was buy me a coffee, and my readers love paying for paperback versions of my books that way. That's really interesting. It's actually kind of cool. I mean, that sort of interaction is one of the ways that you build super fans. So if you can have those like personal reactions that with that like buy me a coffee flow, will it scale infinitely? Maybe not, but the people that will go through that process with you kind of become super fans and are much more invested in you. So I think that's worth it. There are a lot, like as a lot of times we grow as business people, we're like, okay, I need to remove some of these high touch things that I'm doing and replace them with low touch things so that I can be more efficient and scale. I'm not going to do Facebook takeovers anymore because I don't get that much, or I'm going to move away from buy me a coffee and build a more streamlined e-commerce flow. But a lot of times you sacrifice that personal touch that you would have had before, and that personal touch is what gets you super fans. So I like it when I think everybody should maintain some less efficient things that give you more of a direct connection to your readers. I think that's super important. Oh, it's the robot. That's what I keep hearing out there. We have a new floor vac robot, and it's like thorough. It vacuums and mops at the same time. It's currently cleaning its mop. So that's what I was just hearing now. Oh, you've had it for 8 years. And okay, that makes sense. Monique says that she's had Shopify Lite for ages now, and if you change off of it, you won't be able to go back. That's why I'm not familiar with it then, because I don't remember. It rings a bell, but I don't remember seeing it anytime recently. So that makes sense. You'd almost have to like build a new one, and then keep paying for Shopify Lite. That'd be a pain in the butt. I get where you're at. That makes sense. Pesky that you can't get plugins like Sell Easy though. It's kind of a bummer. But so yeah, I'm like nice and warm and snuggly in here right now with my big thick blanket and my space heater and my heated chair, which actually has turned off the heat. I need to turn that back on again. I love this chair, but the one thing is like the heat and massage only runs for like 10 minutes before it turns off. And I need it to like run for like half an hour. I need to find out if I could hack this chair and make the heat run for longer. Like I'm not looking for all day. I'm just looking for half an hour here. Because my back like loves heat. I sleep with a heating pad, which you're not supposed to do, but I do it anyway. Because not on high, on medium. Like I'm not like a total crazy person, but it helps me make it through the day a lot easier. But I am going to jet actually, because I've got, like I mentioned at the beginning, for those of you around that, I've got 5 hours of back-to-back-to-back calls today, and I want a little bit of time to get ready for my next call. So I've enjoyed chatting with you. Something I'm thinking about doing and adding to school is actually talking about exactly how I use Claude to write the book that I wrote most recently. Because I think there's a lot of different ways you can use AI to help you write a book, and while you might not like or want to do all the different things I did, there are some efficiencies in there that saved me so much time, and also allowed me to create these artifacts that I actually think could be really interesting and useful to my readers later on, like as supplemental information to go along with this book, that I would never have created normally because it would just have taken too much time for what it's worth. But just the process of using Claude to work on this book with me, I got that. And then also just kind of want to talk, I might talk a little bit about like just the collaborative feel where I didn't feel like I was just alone in my office the whole time was actually super nice as well. Oh, awesome, Monique. I'm glad you. All right, that I will consider it even more strongly, knowing you guys are down for that. And it's nice to see you as well, Judith. I'm also doing actually a bunch of research on different AI models and like when they start to show certain types of behavior. So I've actually got like a server that I'm just like testing out like dozens of different AI models on. So I'm having a blast being a science and data nerd with all of that too. But yeah, you're very welcome, Rebecca. I'm here to help people. If you guys, anytime you guys have questions about stuff that's hanging you up, and I don't have like a really big dedicated topic for lunch with Mel. I'm always happy to help with that sort of thing. So I just want to see people like run ads and do marketing and sell more of your books. I'm also interested in you writing more good books as well. So all of the above. Those are all great things. But I shall jet, and yes, I shall finish my brunch, Tim. It shall be delicious. And I'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.